Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we'll be talking about the Jeep Grand Cherokee Trailhawk 4xE. Now this is part of a video series where I'm talking about different vehicles that I will potentially be purchasing in the future, and I'm making these videos so that we can kind of go over the pros and cons of all of them to basically choose the best possible vehicle for me with things moving forward. Now, because the Grand Cherokee 4xE and the Trailhawk haven't been released yet, I can't do like my normal walk around like I've done in the other videos in this series, so sorry about that. But with that being said, as always, before getting the video, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Okay, so let's quickly talk about the 4xE part of the Grand Cherokee, then the Grand Cherokee part, and then also the Trailhawk part. So there's three different things to focus on. So first off, with the 4xE, this is a new powertrain for the Grand Cherokee. They already have had it in the Wrangler for a couple of years now. It is a turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission and a hybrid system. Total system output is 375 horsepower and 470 pound-feet of torque, which is really, really strong. And then on top of that, since it's a hybrid, it gets great fuel economy, and since it's a plug-in hybrid, you can charge it up and you can drive in full electric mode, and you can do trips and everything without using any gas, which I think is great, especially for what I'd be using this for. This would be like a family daily driver vehicle, and so that would actually add to the practicality, right? I could take it to the grocery store and all that kind of stuff and not have to use any gas. And on top of that, since I live in a house that has solar, then it's not like I'm spending more money to charge this up. Hopefully that makes sense. Now, if we go to the Grand Cherokee part of things, the new Grand Cherokee is really nice. I've reviewed quite a few. When I first reviewed the Grand Cherokee L, which is just the extended wheelbase version, I was really impressed with the interior quality on it. They've definitely jumped things up quite a bit to make it feel more like a luxury vehicle, and I think it's worked really well. They've basically taken a lot of cues from Range Rover, funny enough, is who they're trying to copy. They've just been open about that, and I think it's worked really well because the interior feels really nice and upscale, especially considering the price point. Now, if we go to the Trailhawk side of things, this is the off-road version of the new Grand Cherokee that isn't out yet. And obviously, if I'm going to purchase a vehicle, it's got to have some off-road chops. I can't just purchase like a regular on-road vehicle because I'm going to want to take it off-road. Even though it's a family vehicle, right? We got to go on those fun family off-roading adventures. Actually, diving into the Trailhawk package itself, it's actually pretty cool. It comes with all-terrain tires. They're like 30.5 inches, which isn't massive. My Ram TRX and my Jeep Wrangler both have 35-inch tires, and then the Raptor's 37-inch tires. So having 30.5 inches it's kind of small for the Ben Hardy garage, I suppose, but I'm sure that I could easily fit 33s on it. Maybe I have to do a little bit of modifying. But the other thing that's cool about the Trailhawk package is it can actually send 100% of the power and torque to one of the rear wheels or the other. It's pretty cool, so that'll help it get out of off-road situations if you have like a tire up in the air. And then on top of that, it does have an electronic sway bar disconnect for the front end to help with articulation off-road as well. So they're basically taking tech out of the Wrangler and throwing it into the Grand Cherokee. And so with that, right, that helps out with the off-roading. And then it also does come with air suspension, which means that you can raise it up quite a bit to get a little bit more ground clearance. And then it has Jeep's most advanced 4-wheel drive system. So with all of that combined, super capable off-road straight out of the box. And then obviously if I added more aggressive tires, then it would just absolutely be able to destroy, most off-road obstacles, especially if you're just going on, normal, quiet family adventures. And then if we just dive into, the whole family practicality side of things with it, it's got a big back seat, it's got a big trunk area, so it's really practical from that perspective. And you can get it with a fair amount of luxury amenities to make it so it's comfortable on road trips and all that fun stuff. Now, there are a few things going against the Grand Cherokee, and we kind of talk about this throughout the series, the pros and the cons. So first thing that's going against it is, well, Jeep didn't invite me to their launch event with it. I guess I'm not important enough yet, but I haven't driven it. And so that's something that goes against it, is I don't know how it drives. I know how the new Grand Cherokee drives, and I know how the 4xE powertrain drives because I had a Wrangler 4xE for a week, Wrangler Rubicon. So I have a pretty good idea of those two parts of it. But the Trailhawk, right, it's going to have its own unique drive with everything put together. The 4xE powertrain, the air suspension, the off-road tires, the Grand Cherokee platform, it's gonna have its own unique drive to it. So I don't know how it drives. So that is a con in my mind because I might not like how it drives. I like how the new Grand Cherokee drives. I like the 4xE powertrain, but combining it together, I'm not sure, right? So there's a little bit of uncertainty there. And then on top of that, right, I don't know how easy it would be to get this car and how long I'd have to wait because it's still not available yet. And so this would be a car that I'd have to put an order in for, and I'd have to wait for who knows how long before the car would come in. And so there is that bit of a downside, but most cars, it's going to take a while to get them in. So I guess that's not like a huge negative going against it. And then on top of that, reliability concerns. So first off, the 4xe powertrain has already had some issues. I had a friend that basically traded in his Wrangler 4xe because he was just done with all of the reliability issues he was having with it. And so there is that concern with the powertrain. And then on top of that, air suspension is a system that is just pretty much guaranteed to fail over the long term, right? If you have a car with air suspension for, 15, 20 plus years, which I don't know if I'll keep this vehicle for that long, but the point I'm trying to make is you're going to have to replace the system, right? You look at old Mercedes and Land Rovers, and now that Ram has had their air suspension system out in their trucks for quite some time, and Jeep, frankly, right? Systems are failing, right? We know it's a system that is going to fail, and it's the reason why it's, I guess, talked about so much more than standard suspension failing, because standard suspension does fail too over time. It's just a lot cheaper to replace regular suspension than air suspension. Air suspension is thousands of dollars. So like when it fails, it's a really, really big deal. Now, aside from reliability concerns, which are obviously very important, my other concern with the Trailhawk 4xe is frankly the price. So it starts at around like $62,000, and then, how I spec it out would probably be about $70,000, which makes it quite a bit less expensive than other vehicles I've talked about in the series. But it puts it right in line with a Land Rover Defender, at least a Defender that I would personally purchase, and like how I've spec'd out the Defender. And in my mind, the Defender, even though it's probably just as unreliable, if not more unreliable than the Jeep, is a cooler vehicle from a YouTube perspective, and it's probably going to be the better off-roader overall. Now, I understand it's not going to have the cool sway bar disconnect like the Grand Cherokee will have, but at the same token, it has an amazingly advanced four-wheel drive system that every single review that I've looked at with the Defender off-road has said that it's like the best four-wheel drive system that people have ever experienced in their lives. And on top of that, if I get the Defender with air suspension just like what the Grand Cherokee Trailhawk has, I'm going to have an air suspension system that is better, because all the reviews I've seen with the air suspension system with the Grand Cherokee say that at the top height setting, it's really stiff, it's really uncomfortable because they just use one bag. Whereas with the Defender, they have like a double bag system where basically one of the bags raises it and then the other bag gives you some compression so that you still get like a smooth ride quality even when you're at the top of the air suspension. So you kind of get the best of both worlds. You get extra ground clearance and a smooth ride quality. But I probably wouldn't spec out the air suspension if I get the Defender, so I guess that point is, pushed to the side. But then that also kind of makes me lean more towards the Defender and away from the Grand Cherokee, because if I can get the Defender without air suspension, but I have to get air suspension in the Grand Cherokee because it's part of that Trailhawk package, then it, it kind of makes it make a little bit more sense to me from a reliability perspective, because I'm just not a fan of air suspension. If I can get a vehicle without it, right, it's probably the route that I would go. But the point that I'm trying to make with this section is that the Grand Cherokee 4xe Trailhawk is really cool, but it's also very expensive. They put themselves in a whole new category. And I understand, like I said, they have made the exterior look way better than it was before. The interior looks so much better. Like, it really does feel like a luxury car, but they're still not a luxury brand, right? Like, Land Rover is a luxury brand, so they can charge a slight premium because they've got the name. Jeep, they don't have the name yet, right? They have the name for like off-roading, and it's a really cool brand, but they don't have like the luxury name, so they can't really charge luxury prices, but they are charging luxury prices, right? It's crazy. People are still buying Grand Cherokees like crazy, and they won't stop. But I guess, me personally adding the vehicle to the fleet, it's something that I would consider, right? It's like, if I'm looking at this purely from, an influencer standpoint, right? What's going to have a better ROI for me? A Defender that has a little bit more of a name to it, right? Or a Grand Cherokee for about the same amount of money. So it's definitely something to take into consideration. But I guess that'll pretty much just sum things up for today's video. So overall, I think the new Grand Cherokee Trailhawk 4xe is a really cool vehicle, and it's something that I'm definitely going to be considering. And I think that it could be a cool vehicle to like do adventures with, and obviously people probably want to see what that could handle, and then it could be pretty fun to modify. Probably expensive though, because again, air suspension is so expensive to do anything with it, and then it just breaks. That's the other problem, is air suspension just like glitches out all the time and it just breaks. So that's a kind of another thing to think about. But it could potentially be some fun. But I want you guys to let me know what you think about the new Grand Cherokee 4xe Trailhawk. If you think this is a vehicle that I should look into, or if you think that it's just a waste of time and I need to just like cross it off of the list. And with that being said, I will see all of you in that next video.